Hello again. I swear I do get dressed. It's just this is very comfortable for me, and I tend to write in my pajamas. My friend and I are actually going for a Mexican in a minute, so I'd better get dressed, hadn't I? My third novella was accepted, so that's exciting. I can't tell you any more right now, but I will soon. Okay, I've read a lot of horror and strange and disturbing things, William Burroughs, and lots of, but true stories also can be very disturbing. But I think it takes a special kind of book to really sort of disturb me to my core, and that I think has only happened a few times. Well, I mean, it probably happened a lot when I was younger, but then I reached a point where it just didn't happen as much. So I think the first one that really disturbed me after the breaking of my mind was the Teratologist, yes, I think I said that right, by Rath James, oh dear, and Edward Lee. If you're familiar with those names, they do extreme horror. So horror, but even more horror. So I guess it's kind of probably more gory or disgusting or that kind of thing. And that's usually not my cup of tea. I do like sort of more subtle things, maybe spooky supernatural stories like ghosty things and that kind of stuff. But I was really intrigued by the outline, the plot of the story. It's about, I don't know if you know, but teratology is the study of abnormal physiognomy or something like that. So it's like someone who's born with some sort of, say, abnormality, that kind of thing. And the story apparently is about a billionaire who wants to offend God. He wants to offend God so that he then shows himself. And in order to do that, he gathers a range of like strange and disturbing people and feeds them this drug that makes them want to do it. Yeah, and so he kind of gathers all these people and just kind of watches, and then a journalist turns up and asks him questions, and then he shows him what he's working on, and then he can't escape. And so like, this is my face after the second page. Yeah, I mean, like, it's extreme, it's disgusting, but I don't know, I think I kind of liked it. I think I thought it was good. It's not an easy one to sort of recommend. It's like, okay, I'll admit, I like Cannibal Holocaust. I thought it was quite inventive for its time. I mean, like, it's nasty, but I think it's good. And I think this might be along the same lines. Most people would read it and be horrified and never want it to darken their eyeballs again. But yeah, no, I think it was good. I mean, I guess it's got a kind of Marquis de Sade feel to it, in that it involves a lot of sex, and the sex does get quite tedious after a while. But I kind of feel like maybe it was meant to get tedious. It's certainly not erotic by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, the Teratologist, Rath James Wright, really should have double checked that, Rath James Wright and Edward Lee. Yeah, it's an experience. The next one is The Average American Male by Chad, oh my god, I don't remember his surname. I usually leave notes for myself, but today I was lazy. It's called The Average American Male, and this disturbed me in a very different way. It was written by a man who is quite sort of traditional blokey, I guess. He watches a lot of porn and doesn't really like his girlfriend, and he seems pretty angry about things, and he complains about his girlfriend a lot. I get the sense that this was largely autobiographical. In fact, I found out afterwards that his ex-girlfriend said that a lot of the stuff in it was stuff that had actually happened between them, and she then wrote a book in response. But the thing is most people hated that book as well. I don't think many people liked this book, but I think it probably has quite a strong core following of angry men. That's like a huge generalization, and I usually like to avoid that. But yeah, like I'm not going to pretend that I didn't read it from cover to cover really fast, because I did. I zipped through it because I was kind of fascinated. And I'm not going to say that I hated it either. I'm not... What was it that disturbed me so much? I still can't quite put my finger on it. I think it's the fact that the main character was so repulsive. I found him to be completely lacking in any kind of... completely lacking in any like many positive things. God, that sounds terrible. But yeah, he obviously hated his girlfriend, and to be honest, I was disturbed because a large part of what he was complaining about I would have probably complained about as well. She kind of duped him into getting engaged and was quite childlike, which works for some people, but obviously it wasn't very suited to him, and couples are, or however many, is all about being suited to each other. But yeah, he the ending, basically I feel that the point he was making was that all girls, when you go out with them after a while, end up just sort of giving up and becoming like a middle-aged mum, you know, not really like bothering, and he gets a new girlfriend. I'll just ruin that for you. He gets a new girlfriend and she ends up basically turning into his old girlfriend. So I guess there's the kind of thing that made me a bit angry of, okay, so we're all the same, great, thanks. Which is enough to annoy most people. But I guess the thing that disturbed me was it did sort of get me thinking, well, yeah, I mean, like maybe I and maybe some other girls or boys, whoever, should like continue to put a bit more effort into their relationships. Maybe that is a problem that we should look at. So perhaps it was like challenging my way of thinking. However, he's still repulsive. And my final one is, now I've read a lot of non-fiction. I really like non-fiction, and I've read 12 Years a Slave and Anne Frank's Diary and many others that were very disturbing. But for some reason, the graphic novel Mouse, and I'll put it in the information in the description because yet again I've forgotten the name of the person. Mouse, spelt M-A-U-S, really got to me in a very specific way. It's a graphic novel based on his grandfather's experiences in a concentration camp, which obviously isn't going to be easy reading, but it was the little things that got to me rather than anything really big, because when you, unless you were there, when you think of a concentration camp, it's so massively bad that it's hard to sort of put yourself in that mind frame other than just going, oh God. But there's a little bit where someone that his grandfather knew, they didn't have his size shoe, so he was given a pair of shoes that were not the same as each other. One was too small for his feet and the other was too big, so it then led to him doing a really strange like way of walking, and that really made me cry, because it's such a simple thing. Like, everyone can think of a pair of shoes that don't fit, and just imagining being forced to wear them day in, day out with no choice, for some reason made it very real for me. All of the characters are drawn as mice, and the Nazis are drawn as cats. You've probably heard of it, and I really recommend it, but I have to admit I couldn't finish it because I really found it very distressing. It's brilliant, fantastic graphic novel, but if you can get through the whole thing, you're tougher than I am, I think. So those are books that have disturbed my already disturbing brain. Let me know in the comments what disturbed you. I have tried Marquis de Sade, that's pretty disturbing. But I read Juliet, and I don't think that's one of his worst ones. I do one day want to try 120 Days of Sodom. I don't know why, but I feel that one day I might, and then talk about it. Yeah, if you have read that one, let me know. But all you need to know is that they once made a film version, and they transplanted the story into Nazi Italy, fascist Italy. So that should tell you everything, and I couldn't finish that. So yeah, let me know what you have found particularly distressing. Thanks, bye.